Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Welcome to Temple Sinai's Kabbalat Shabbat service. If you are part of our in-person Reno community or those joining us online, thank you so much for being here. Our beloved rabbis, Sarah and Benjamin, are taking some much-needed rest tonight. I am Tova McGilvray, your Temple First Vice President, and I will be filling in. Thank you so much for your generous spirits and your patience. This is my first time leading services tonight as a solo artist. If you would like to join, those of us joining us in TV land, if you would like to read along with tonight's service, you can download the Siddur at the banner that should be listed somewhere right here below me, sidaireno.org/Siddur. And if we ever get lost or if I lose you, Yai Dai 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 is, of course, the best way to sing along. And if you say amen, you get full credit for all the prayers. Let's please start together with a reading on page 6, bottom of page 6. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and meaningful life. If you are lighting candles with us at home, or if you'll be sharing in ours, please join us for the blessing on page 2. And I would like to invite up Crystal and Alina to lead us in the candle lighting.
I'm going to cheat and use the easy thing.
You may.
Okay. Ready? Those are the matches. Those are all going up here already.
Adonai, Eloheinu, melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chad likner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Alina. Almighty God, grant me and all my loved ones the chance to truly rest on this Shabbat. May the light of the candles drive out from among us the spirit of anger, the spirit of harm. Send your blessings to my children that they may walk in the ways of your Torah, your light. We begin our song celebration tonight with Hinei Matov on page 10 of your songbooks. Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד. Thank you. I might never know when to stop. So. If we are warmed up and ready to invite in our Shabbat bride, please turn to page 20 for Lecha Dodi. As is our custom, we will be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. In body or in spirit, please rise on the last verse and bow towards our exterior door to welcome the Kala, the bride. Lecha Dodi, come, my beloved, my friends, my family, all together. Having to remember which tune I've been practicing. Thank you so much. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha kishmianu Elcham yuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad Leshem utberet letefila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mikol ha'beracha merosh mekedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshvat techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Hitorori kiva orech Kumi ori uri shir daveri kavod Adonai alayich nikla Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha v'etzotcha latochu mene am segula boi chala Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pene Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated in your hearts. Our bride is with us. We continue on page 24. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Vi melech, Malachei HaMlachim Elohim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now that we are all here, we join together in the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba Yama divrach yivrutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chayechon v'yomechon Uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'imru, amen. Yehesh merabba mevorach, le'olam u'lo me'omaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpo'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, V'yitada, v'yitale, v'yitalav, Shemei d'kudasha b'richu, Lein kol virchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran v'yoma, v'imru, amen. Look out your window at home if you have one. Smile at your friends. That's what we can do here in the synagogue. And when we come back together, we'll continue on. Oh, I didn't want to skip the Baruch Hu. We'll pick up on page 30 of the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Excuse me for the clunkiness, my friends. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech. I'm so sorry. I've lost myself. Marilyn or Jen, if you know it, can you call it out and get help? Please get me kind of restarted and find my path.
Which page are you on?
I am on page 30, please. Thank you so much, ladies. You get so nervous and it all just.
We should have the bar mitzvah boys do it, right?
Well, everybody's waiting on us, so if I could get a prompt going, please. Adonai. Wrong melody, correct.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I didn't practice it, because I was planning on reading the English on page 30. That's why it escaped me. I'm so sorry. Let's do the English roll together at the bottom of page 30, please. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, pulling light away from darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Thank you. We offer praise to the one that spins the heavens in the constant rhythms. Next, we share our gratitude for the God for the love God has for Israel and affirm our commitment in return. Please join us for Ahavat Olam on page 32. And now my sheet says to invite you to rise. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, Ukumenu nasiach b'kochecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, Ki hem chayenu, V'yorech yameinu, Uvachem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla, Ve'achatal tasir nimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. The V'ahavta can be found on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavcha hayom ha'levavecha V'shinatam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shitecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha v'derech, u'v'shochbecha u'kumecha, u'chshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'chtavtam Amezuzot beitacha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vatzitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem Elohim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem V'chotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem Emet. May you please be seated. Whether we lived up to all of that this week or whether we fell short, it's Shabbat now. We read together on page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Please join me for Micha Mocha on page 40. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi. Did I do that again? Okay. Thank you. Bam, ba, bim, bam. Ya, ba, ba, bim, bim, bam. Ya, ba, ba, bim, bam. Ya, da, 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 da. Ya, da, 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 bam. Ya, da, 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 da. Ya, da, da, ba, bim, bam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha Mila Kodesh, no Ratahilo Tosefele, no Ratahilo Tosefele. Marara bim bim bam, rara ba bim bam, yara bim bim bam, yara ba bim bam, yara ba bim bam. Thank you. We read together on page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, for your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. God, are going and are coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, all over your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al amo Yisrael ve'Yerushalayim. We continue on page 44 with Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי ישראל אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise in body or in spirit as we enter into the Amidah, which can be found on page 46. Adonai sefatai titach ufi agita hilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, V'Eloheinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Akot V'Imaot, U'Mevei Livua Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Atah Rav Lechoshia, Mariv HaRuach U'Mariv HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Ramim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Chaye Emunato Lishenei Afa, Michamocha Bal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memi Dumechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kidosh v'shimcha kidosh, v'kidoshim b'chol yom lecha hallelujah selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue silently until page 62, or you may use this time for silent reflection. When you are completed, you may please be seated in your own time. Shalom b'mroma, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 V'imru. Amen. We read together on page 245. Assemble the people. Sorry, I should give you a chance to get to 245. In the middle of the page. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities, to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai, your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai, your God. I was given the gracious hall pass of not leading a Torah service tonight, and someday I aspire to do that for you, but thank you so much for your grace tonight. As the Torahs are being opened up and down in our time zone, we turn our attention to those in our community who are in need of healing. Please place any names that you hold in your hearts in the chat boxes for those of us following along on our live stream tonight. And names I know in need of healing, we hold in our hearts Wendy Alderman, Benjamin Borsoff, Laura Ann Borsoff, Neil Calder, Laura Cohen, Jeff Gingold, Stephen Gold, Al Grossman, Marlene Harris, Ken Hecht, Harvey Higdon, Seth Hirschfeld, Laura Droid, Rabbi Marsha Prague-Olive, Judy Ramos, Jay Riker, Shirley Rutkovitz, Sarah Bat-Chava, Marianne Schenker, Helene Spinner, Jessica Wadetz, Usher Zachli, Tim Oberman, everyone affected by the coronavirus, and the Jewish and other communities in Ukraine. Again, please, if anybody else would have other names that they would like to share for healing tonight. Thank you. We will continue with the Mishabera, which can be found on page 253. Mishabera avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishabera imoten. Kor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Let us read together on page 257. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace. Its highest teachings is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization, honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties. But the study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all. Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do. We're not doing a Torah service tonight, but Tova loves to hear Tova talk, so of course I have some words about the Parsha. I would like just to start by thanking, as always, the rabbis at Chabad.org, which provide such interesting insights. This week's Parsha is Tzav, in which God instructs Moses to command Aaron and his sons regarding the duties and rights of the Kohanim, the priests. This Parsha specifically deals with the meal and animal offerings and how they are placed on the altar. So the services performed in the temple, in the ancient temple, fall under two general categories: the inner services of the temple proper and the outer services held in the temple courtyard. When applied to us as individuals, this translates into a person's inner spiritual development and the external areas of their life, their connection to the community and the outside world. A person's first impulse might be to work from the inside out, first to deal with one's internal needs, and then turn their attention to outside matters. But in the temple, things worked the other way around. The day begins with the lighting of the fires of the external altars, which stand in the temple courtyard. In fact, the internal altar and the menorah, which is in the temple's internal chambers, was then lit from the fires of the external altars. So earlier this month, I attended a Shabbat dinner, and leading up to it, I did not want to go. I'd had a really rough week. I was feeling just very gross from work that day, and my heart wasn't into it. Unknowingly, though, I followed the examples set by the ancient temple, and I made my way to the Shabbat dinner even before I was personally ready for it. I showed up for my friend who was hosting and for the Jewish community that she'd assembled that night. And wouldn't you know what happened? That outer connection sparked my inner spirit. And I think many of us might be experiencing that resistance now as we're expected to have a social life again. And I'm glad that events are happening again and invitations are being extended, but I'm out of practice. And sometimes I'm not ready. I encourage us to take from this Parsha a reframing that perhaps my hesitancy, the cure for that could be connection, participation, and acts of service. And that might just be what we need to warm our desire for connection, participation, and acts of service. Thank you for letting me to share tonight. It felt good. We begin the final part of our service tonight with the Aleinu on page 82. We will rise as the ark is open, and I would like to invite up Doug and Sandra Goodman, please. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, sheno l'samim v'aratzo, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kachem, v'goralenu k'chol hamono. Ve'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei hamalchim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We read together on page 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when shall return to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstitions shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. Oh, may all created in your image become one spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Thank you. We continue on page 287. V'nemar v'chaya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. We bring to mind now our loved ones whose memories are with us. If you would like to name someone, and please put their names in the chat window of our live stream. Tonight we are thinking of Mary Klein, James Hawley, Seth Hirschfield, Leonard Fusari, Donna Matlis, Charlie Perlman, Rabbi Michael Cook, PhD, Sharon Perlman, Mildred Millie Small, Alan Dabro, William Lebovic, Jim Ballantyne, Eli Kane, David Stucker, Terry Gregory, Grayson Corbett, Joan Nutkin, Andrew Venuti, Gerald Kaufman, Goldie Brustein, Lucille Alexander, Stanley Browdy, Edna Bailey, Jenna Duniff Caswell, Will Spiegelman, and the yard sites of Elliot Marvin Kembler, Sylvia Pansky, David Press, Judy Cantor, Harry Zwelling, Sadie Goldie Fertag, and Carl Strasser. As I move through the room, please share any names that are also in your heart tonight. Thank you. Before the Mornis Kaddish, we'll start with a reading on page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its sustenance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and in our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are seen no more, yet we do not despair. For we are more than a memory fading slowly into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. The Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. If it is your custom, please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach hivrutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah b'richu le'en la min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, Kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zikronon livracha. Announcements. Thank you so much to Jen Wulff, board member Jen Wulff, for being our greeter tonight, and for Michael Gorden for running our tech tonight. Thank you again, everybody, for your grace and patience. Thank you for my angels in the audience who have helped me out tonight. It is a miracle that you are here. Tonight will be another grab and go neg. So please grab and enjoy some challah and juice from the lobby before you leave the synagogue after the service. There will be a Yisma Zoom tonight. So for those on the live stream to enjoy each other's company on Zoom, the ID will be posted on the banner below. Thank you to Laura Ashkin and Chris Stanton for hosting Yisma Zoom this week. Tomorrow will be a Torah study on Zoom, starting Genesis 37:6 at 10 a.m. There will be no Sinai School this Sunday. It will resume on March 27th. And Friday, March 25th, we'll be back with another Kabbalat Shabbat service led by Laura Smith and Aaron Hill. And let's see, I want to share about upcoming on April 3rd, we have another installment of the Sacred Sinai series. The focus of this installment will be ableism. So ableism, for those who do not know, is a unique form of bias that those in our disabled community live with on a regular basis. And the talk will be led by Shelley Christensen on how to recognize and contend with ableism in our world. And I would be remiss in not continuing to announce the upcoming Temple Sinai Community Seder at the Atlantis. Perhaps if you've been experiencing some of that invitation hesitation that I mentioned earlier, this might be a good time to put yourself out there. Join us for Shabbat, for Passover Seder. We will close tonight with Ein Keloheinu on page 322. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mi Cheloheinu, Mi Chadonenu, Mi Chemalkeinu, Mi Chamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom. We'll do a brief Kiddush before we invite everyone to leave tonight. I know. Thank you. My glasses work for out here, but in order to read the prayer books today, I left them, so I was at a loss. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzah b'manu. V'shabbat kosho v'yachava u'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah l'mikroei kodesh, zecher l'tzion Mitzrayim, ki banu b'chol Atanu Kidashta Mikol Hamid Shabbat Shabbat Be'achava Uvratzon Inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh Vashabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Amen. Kabbalat Shabbat.